Before we get started, this video is brought to you by Ekster. I've actually been using their wallet products for the past 2 years since I first did a sponsor for them, and it's by far been my favorite and most versatile wallet I've ever come across. Ekster wallets excel at providing instant access to your cards, provide you convenient slots for your ID or smaller documents, and allow you to utilize tracker cards through the Chipolo app so you can always track your items, whether it be your wallet, handbag, backpack, etc. They also offer a magnetic card holder that can be attached to your phone just in case you need to travel light. They recently sent me a few more products to test out for this sponsor. I was previously using the aluminum card holder for all my needs, but I've been thoroughly enjoying the Parliament wallet they sent me in Merlot Red, and it provides all the features I was already getting from Ekster and more. Be sure to check out this Father's Day sale using my link below for up to 35% discount on the website. It's never a bad time to give yourself an upgrade, and sometimes it's the accessories you don't think about that can end up enhancing your life. A special thanks to Ekster for sponsoring, and with that said, let's get back to the video. What's going on, folks? Hope you're having a wonderful night or day. It has been an amazing 2 days in Anvil Empires. I've learned so much, met so many cool people. I'm very glad that they actually did change this into a settlement test instead of a PvP test because honestly, I needed the practice. Our team was able to fully build up our city. We tested out the Aqueduct System. We actually got a little bit of PvP. It was a lot of fun. We actually went down south towards the end of the test, even though it was settlement based, and unfortunately we did learn the hard way that sometimes the settlement debuff is more serious, than you'd initially realize. But we went down south because one of our allies in our faction were being attacked, and we were able to actually find them. So we got into a really good fight. We got quite a few kills with the enemy party. It was the Ancients, and they had about, I would say, about 5-6 people initially. I think we definitely outnumbered them, that's for sure. So we were able to get, quite a few kills. In the very end, though, they were able to bring it back and actually did overwhelm us. But it was more because we decided to chase them up onto their bridge area. See, it first started out with us baiting them and trying to get them to open the gate. And then we were just kind of pretending that we were just gonna hold there. And then we just all at once rushed in, killed the guy that was holding the gate open. And then we were able to take control of the area. We stayed there though because the bridge that they had built, we were thinking that it can be dismantled by them. So what they were likely going to do, once all of us were up on the bridge, had all our stuff on us, ready to fight, they could have broken the bridge. And then eventually they did come and push up to us, but because we were in their area, the settlement debuff reduces the damage to enemies. Unfortunately for us, we weren't really able to do any damage and we all got wiped. But it was a really good learning experience, and something like that, it's not gonna be a thing during launch, so it wouldn't really it may not, it still may have ended in that same exact result. But either way, it was a really fun fight. I had such a blast fighting with them, fighting alongside my team, and I got a lot of experience with the blacksmithing system. I actually learned a lot about it, and I feel like it's more as far as like increasing the tiers of the item that you craft in the end is more about the heat that you quench it at and also the amount of hits that you do to it while it's on the anvil. And I don't feel like I know quite enough about it yet. It's a lot of trial and error, which I love, but I still need to get some more practice with it, do more testing, and figure out the exact methods for it, because right now it's a little bit up in the air. I've kind of learned how to make some tier 3 things, some tier 2 things, but I still need to do further testing. And we didn't have automation as well, because unfortunately we did test out the aqueduct system, but water can't flow upward because of course, but unfortunately we weren't able to find an alternative for getting canals or the waterways to extend to our city. And of course, since we can't terraform or anything like that, there's not really many options for that. And like I get, like physics wise, why the water doesn't flow upward. Basically everybody that's doing aqueducts is building the shoreline at the moment. And I think some alternatives that we could potentially add if they wanted to is maybe if we were able to use wagons to cart barrels of water up to our settlement, and then we had some sort of like generator, like the water wheel, but similar. Maybe we could use the canal and then cart the barrel in there, and then that could last for like 6 hours, maybe even 4 to 6, something like that, or more. I think that could be really cool. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with the armor smithing system, like when they implement it to the point of it having the amount of complexity that the smithing system has. I really am looking forward to that. I think as far as like from a building standpoint, there's a lot of creative things that you can do. I was hearing about some of the stuff they were doing over at Miskeep. Those are the OG guys that have been in the game or been in the testing phases and stuff like that for quite a long time. They were building some incredible stuff over there. Highly recommend checking it out if they posted any pictures or for videos. But I'm absolutely looking forward to seeing what they do with the armor smith, just all the other systems in general. Already it's been such a blast, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. I do think some kind of fix or maybe some kind of alternate change is needed for the water system, because as it sits right now, because the water doesn't flow uphill, another issue is that because we can't expand our borders past a certain point, or at least it seems like we can't, unfortunately we're not able to really do like a miniature, because what we were thinking is maybe we could do like a miniature settlement right next to the water, and that's where our blacksmithing stuff would be. I think if we can build some kind of generator that we can connect to all of our buildings to get the automation going, and then have like wagons filled with barrels that we could cart up and down. But they did get a lot of feedback on that yesterday, like the placement of the aqueducts and like the issues that people have been having with that. So I'm assuming that the next test, and most of us are thinking that the next test is probably going to take place in the next couple of weeks or a month, and it's going to include PvP. Hopefully we'll get more time, because we spent the whole 2 days, well, it was 6 hours a pop, but 2 days just getting set up to the point where we have everybody, you know, kitted out in armor, weapons, had enough food, really you know, get stuff done productively, get horses, try the aqueduct infrastructure, and try the sawbucks and get the farm going. But also we ended up, when we went down there to fight the fight, we ended up running out of food really quick. Like, you have to have a lot of food in these war times. Like, it's not just a thing where you can get everybody kitted out in armor and then, you know, you're just good to go. You need food for the supply camps that you're going to be building down there so that you can actually respawn at those locations. So yeah, when you're building a makeshift camp, you need to have a caravan that you could make into like a frontier camp. You need materials to build chests and walls, of course. Otherwise, and the longer you're there, you know, the more problems I experience. And this is, in this kind of game, I will say that it's very beneficial if you're like sieging someone and they don't have access, you know, you blockade them basically. That could very negatively affect them if they don't have a good stockpile of food. They'd have to come out to try to farm food or get food or surrender or whatever. Otherwise they might just start dying of hunger. And the really cool thing about the smithing system is that if you find gear out in the world, like let's say you're the type of group that just wants to pillage and raid, you can take those weapons and armor, stuff that you don't need, you can add that to your stock, or you can take those to the smithing areas and then break them down for the materials to get those back. So that's a really cool system. I love the fact that they're doing that. Maybe when they flex out the armor stuff, we'll also be able to break those down into leather fragments that we used initially to make the gear. That might be possible. I learned that building near a silver mine is actually really useful, because we got a silver mine set up pretty early on, and we were just melting that down into silver, which automatically went into coins, and then we were going to the merchant back and forth that was near us and just trading that for planks. And it was such a good deal. Really fun. We had a lot of fun there. And we also even formed a trade agreement with the guys up north. They were actually built on top of an iron mine, so in exchange for, you know, tools here and there, and then bricks and stuff like that, we were able to get the opportunity to mine from settlement. And it was a really nice exchange, like really cool trade agreements. And honestly, I think it's probably one of the best pre-alpha experiences I've ever seen. I mean, realistically, most of the time in a pre-alpha, they barely, you know, have the starting area completed, let alone the character models and all kinds of stuff. But of course, I'm really looking forward to when they put in the siege engines. They have the battering ram right now, but like when they put in the catapult, trebuchet especially, you have access to oil flasks and torches that you can use. We're trying to burn the doors, or the gates, I mean, on the bridges, on the bridge down there, and we did actually burn one of them enough to get control of it, which was thing. But the other one, unfortunately, we weren't able to burn that one. And then that's when they were able to try to push back on us and figured out that the settlement buff wasn't going to allow us to do any damage. But either way, though, make sure that when the next test is starting, you get ready to sign up for the pre-alpha testing. And it'll only be available for like a couple of days before the test actually begins. Once the test starts, I don't think they're available on the Steam page anymore. If you're curious on how to do that, definitely check out their first developer blog, or you can watch my video on it. But that's pretty much all my thoughts for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had an absolute blast. I cannot wait for the next. And I'll catch you next time.